Are gun shows becoming a thing of the past? Well, the reason I'm making this video is I used to do a lot of gun show reports or coverage when I went to a local show. I'd talk about it. Basically, a lot of the venues I'm not allowed to film or take pictures inside the building. So that's why I know some guys will go and show you the stuff on the table, show you the prices. Some of the venues I go to, you can't do it for security reasons. But I do report and I describe what I see. I describe prices and how the general, feel of the whole thing is. Okay. And I haven't done it for a while because the gun shows have, and a lot of people comment they don't like going to them. It kind of is a waste of time. Now, what has happened? 20 years ago, I'd never miss one. I used to drive throughout the whole state. I used to go to all of them and, buy stuff, sell stuff, get reloading components, everything. It was part of the hobby. It was fun. I got to know a lot of different people and talk to people, so it went on for quite a while like that. But one person said that, the government's trying to shut them down or ruin them. And they kind of did. And there were some things done. This last thing, I guess it passed in September by the ATF. You can't sell anything to anybody without a background check or they're going to fine you and arrest you for being an unlicensed dealer. That kind of has put people at odds about going and selling their personal things unless you basically sell it to a dealer or something like that. But that has aggravated people. And then we had the health crisis, which shut down a lot of venues, or shut down most gun shows. I think it was like a year, almost a year and a half, or it was over a year. And then that threw everything off, combined with the fact that these panic buying things we had over the past 15 years, okay? You'd go to a show, they would be jammed. I'm talking back during the Obama administration. They'd be jammed. Everything would be marked up. They'd sell out. And this last one with the last election, it was the worst. They sold out everything. And for years, it was hard to stock up the guns, throw in the health crisis. It kind of really made everything different. It's not the same. Then, not only with new production guns, but also with mill surplus, there's a shortage of mill surplus. They're not making this stuff, and it's drying up. These stockpiles of 80, 90-year-old rifles and that are going away. Okay, they're not being replenished. There's a finite supply. So if you're into that hobby, then, you got that factor against you. So once everything's settled down, what you're finding is when you go to the shows, most of the small stores or small shops will be out there and have their prices there. But you're finding out that if you go online and you go to some larger stores, which are warehouses, okay, with all those big shortages and increases, companies have been producing ammo. Gun companies have been churning out guns, new guns at the speed of light. Well, now you got this backlash where there was a total shortage, nothing to be found. And now that's stopped. I think just everybody that wanted or needed a gun bought one already. Okay? And also the prices. Now that you have excess inventory, you're finding that the prices are shifting. Okay, were these pistols, like I'd say 8 years ago, I'd go buy a Taurus pistol and I'd maybe get it for $40 or $30 less than the MSRP and be paying about three and a quarter. Where now I can go buy that same gun for $220, $100 less. And also what happens if you bought a gun all those years ago for more money, and now you try to sell it as used, and you paid $300, now they're selling it for two and a quarter used, you're lucky if anybody will offer you $180 for it. So now you've really lost. So you better be attached to what you bought years ago. So there's this weird, it's highly unstable and it's very odd. Okay. So now we're back to where, they got over the health crisis and you go to a show and basically a lot of the dealers selling you stuff there, the price is high. You can go see a variety actually handle the guns, to where a lot of these guns I buy online, I'm buying them sight unseen. I never picked them up. I never handled them and examined them, and then you get them. And yes, there is a pretty big difference in the price. When you go to the gun shows, also now take military surplus. Like I said, it's drying up. That stuff gets insane. I've seen people put $1,000 on a round receiver Mosin Nagant rifle. It was made in 1942 or 43, one of the most common ones there are, and nothing fancy and not that as desirable as a hex receiver or an older gun. $1,000. Okay, when you start seeing prices like that, you get very discouraged showing up. And when I discussed with this one young man, he was doing what I did. He found a Ruger pistol he liked. He bought it online somewhere when it was on sale for $5 something. And he said, when I came to the show, I seen the same gun. Guy's got $7 and a quarter on it, the full MSRP. And you can't blame the small shops because they're only selling a handgun or two, where when you buy, like I'm buying a lot of these, like these $100 Turkish shotguns, it's a warehouse selling them. And when they say they have them on sale or a clearance sale, they got like 30 of the things stacked up there. Not one or two like a small local gun shop will. They got a whole shelf full of them. And when they offer that price, people snatch them and off they go. That's what you're fighting against. It is easier to find deals and buy some guns and save yourself some money doing it online than it is to go to the gun show. And that's for, excuse me, basically newly produced firearms. Okay. Now when you come into the antiques, you come into the mill surplus, a lot of the fellows that dealt in the antiques, like trapdoors and all this other stuff, and then that's it again. Springfield trapdoors are around 1,000 plus. 30-40 Craig rifles from the 1890s, turn of the century, they're 12, 13, 15. And a lot of these old timers that specialize in that, and that's all they'd have, okay, are these older guns. They're passing away from old age. They're in their 80s. And there's several of these fellas I know that specialize in this time period and type of firearm. That's non-existent now. They're gone, kind of literally. And you're not seeing that anymore at the gun show, if that's what you're interested. Okay, even though it's a smaller amount of people interested in that, but you're not seeing that venue. And like I said, mill surplus, it's hard to get. I know some dealers, they just can't get the material to sell at any price. Okay, and this is an issue. So when you do find things like I listed in the gun show report, these guns that used to be $200-300 are now $600-700 more, depending on the desirability. And I mean, it's, I don't know. See, I don't know what they pay younger people. Okay, you know, who has that disposable income for that? And you know, a lot of people complain that you go there, you got some places make you pay for parking, some places, you know, they're charging you $10, $15 to get in, and you go in there and it's all a bunch of overpriced stuff, or half of the hall is full of people selling, you know, beef jerky or shoe shine products, purses, whatever, sunglasses, you know. So it's getting difficult, and it is changing. The whole situation has changed. What'll happen? You know, I guess this last gun show I went to, a lot of people showed up. There were a lot of things there, but not a lot of people were buying. They kind of went through, looked around, and left. It was a good turnout, you know, as far as I was concerned, and there was plenty of dealers with plenty of firearms, but not a lot of activity. And so I don't know. And a lot of the comments, whenever I do a report, there's a lot of people that have some very negative views of going to a gun show, and they stopped going. So, you know, if you don't have anybody coming to the event, eventually you'll kind of see them all kind of go by the wayside. It's much like when I started dealing with the coins and silver and that. One fella, he was a coin collector. He likes that. He goes, how come they don't have coin shows? They used to have coin shows all the time. I remember, you know, years ago, and they used to have, sometimes they'd have coin dealers come into the gun shows. That was not unheard of. But he's right. I don't see them advertising coin shows because people really don't collect coins, and you can go and look and buy things searching online. There's several different places, not so much eBay, but there are some specialized websites that where you can list and buy and sell coins. So it's a lot easier to do something like that than to actually travel to the shows, especially when you go in there like a gun show, take the time to set up, pay the rent, everything else, and then you really don't sell anything. Okay? So at least here, I haven't seen any coin shows. I don't know, maybe in the larger cities, they still have them, but how they used to have little small ones around all the time that were close by, I've kind of not seen it. It would be a long drive for me, maybe down somewhere in Charlotte or something, or Raleigh, you know. But locally, they've kind of gone by the wayside, you know. So you never know. They may happen with gun shows. All right, gentlemen, that's my thoughts on it. Hit the like button, subscribe, and stay tuned.